I'm joined by Jed Adcock, our forwards coach. Jed, the last time we beat Geelong, you were actually playing in the team, and that was the 2013 Miracle on Grass. Did you see some similarities in those two games?
Well, it turned out that way in terms of getting right to the end of the game before we were able to sort of take the lead and get across the line. A little bit different that we weren't 50-something points down. We had to claw all our way all the way back, but I guess it was. It's a high pressure game. The ladder positions are a little bit different from 2013, but we knew coming into the game it was going to be high pressured, high contested, really like a finals-like atmosphere, and the crowd brought that as well, which was fantastic. And we were able to stick it out for long enough and claw our way over.
Yeah, you mentioned the finals-like atmosphere. We had that earlier this year against Collingwood, and the game kind of got away from us, but we really held our own in this game, especially after Geelong kind of slipped away in that second quarter.
Yeah, I think that's been a real positive for us this year, is that we haven't let teams, except for Collingwood and maybe a bit of Essendon, haven't really let teams get on runs and get away. 3 goals late in the second, it hurts you a bit, but ability to come in half-time, reset, and still do what we were doing especially since the bye, for the second half of the game. And then it finally, it had to break at some point, and we're able, lucky to be able to kick three goals right at the end of the game.
So just tell us, earlier in the week, we all thought that Harris Andrews would go to match up on Tom Hawkins, but we saw Marcus Adams go to him. What was the thinking behind that, and how great was he in that role?
Oh, it was more just that Radaglia is so big and tall, and then Harris can match up really well against him. And I think we've all seen now why Marcus is so important and why we brought him in, and his ability to play not only on smaller opponents against like other teams that we've played this year, but then also be able to match up against Tom Hawkins, one of the premier forwards in the competition, with his size and then speed and ability to mark the ball back and start our offence going back the other way was really important for us.
So we were also up against one of the competition's most lethal midfield combinations of Selwood, Dangerfield and Ablett Jr. How do you think our midfield matched against them?
Yeah, and then you had Tim Kelly to that, who's nearly one of the favourites for the Brownlow, and they've got some real support on the outside in Mitch Duncan, who's done a fair bit of damage against us in past games. But we've got a really strong midfield now too, and a lot of games are built on the inside and then ability to win the ball on the outside post that. And I think it just went in patches. There was patches where they were on top, and you talk about the second quarter, late in the second, when their midfield really started to get on top. But then late in the game, our midfield will start to get on top and be able to get some real insurgency going inside 50, which was really important for us at the time. And a lot of midfield is just going to come down to the battles. And towards the end of the game, I think we were able to get plus in contested ball and pressure, and it was just enough to get us over the line.
You said that pressure really came out in those last couple of minutes. Did that come down to the team's endurance?
I don't know. The ability for us to slow them down from their defence or our forward line and stop them transitioning was important. We locked the ball in. We train in 28-degree weather most weeks, especially through the pre-season. It was just nice. A man down, from the second half of the game, and at one stage we only had one on the bench for a period of time. But it was just, we play a game style that we know and we trust. Boys perform their role, and once again we were just able to lock the ball in our forward 50 for the last 7 to 10 minutes, and we just able to capitalise right at the end.
So we've got a big challenge this weekend against Richmond, the last game of the season at the MCG. Doesn't get any bigger than that. But did that give us a bit of a taste of what's to come as we head into our first finals campaign in a decade?
It probably does, yeah. You've got 35,000 going mad, really. And it was nice that 95% were probably Brisbane supporters too, and it was so loud. But I think the boys got a taste of pressure and the speed of the game, and it probably took us a little bit to adjust to that. We've got run down a couple of times, and I think we've kicked 11 out in the full, which is unheard of stat-wise. So I think boys were able to settle into the game nicely. And this week it's probably the same again. You got MCG, and hopefully there's 70,000 or something there to really prep the boys against a team that's 8 in a row as well and flying. So it's going to be a really tough ask for us. We've been travelling well. We're in pretty good form, so we're excited for the challenge ahead.
Can't wait. Thanks.